recording.
We're ready to go, and the recorder's in a good place? Okay. I'll call the meeting of the McHenry County Zoning Board of Appeals to order. The purpose for our hearing today is application Z25-0049. The applicant is Bregan Prop LLC. The request is an A1 agricultural district with conditional use permit for vacation rental to an R3 multifamily residential district with conditional use permit for vacation rental with variance to reduce required parking from 14 spots to 12. The address is 8617 Ridgefield Road, Crystal Lake. There are 2 PIN numbers associated with this application, 1325-127-002 and 1325-127-007. The property is a 2.97 acre tract and it's located on the south side of Ridgefield Road at its intersection with Madison Street in Door Township. At this time, I'll have the members of the Zoning Board of Appeals introduce themselves in the township in which they reside, starting on my left.
Robert Cozen, Algonquin Township.
Bill Kurdick, Grafton Township.
Charlie Eldridge just stepped out and I can't remember what township he's in, but I'm Linnea Krustra in Alden Township.
Vicki Gardner in Nanda Township.
Kurt Schnabel, Riley Township.
Jess Beverly, Door Township.
This petition has been reviewed and the following items have been received prior to today's scheduled hearing. The publisher's certificate of publication from the newspaper is dated July 26, 2025, and thereby meets ordinance requirements. Affidavit of posting was signed and date posted was July 28, 2025, and thereby meets ordinance requirements. Affidavit of mailing was signed and date mailed was July 23, 2025, and thereby meets ordinance requirements. The survey has been checked against the petition, legal notice, and publication in the newspaper, and all 3 match. The filing fees have been paid. The endangered species consultation was not required for this petition, and the McHenry County Soil and Water Conservation District report has been received. This is NRI L250644620. Mr. Eldridge, would you introduce yourself and the township in which you reside?
Charlie Eldridge, Richmond Township.
I think all of you are maybe here at a prior hearing, but if not, I would just like to go through how the hearing works. The petitioner will present his case, why he would like us to approve this request. After he gives his testimony, he'll be asked questions by the zoning board. After that, the public will be allowed to ask questions of him. At the beginning, I will limit you to 3 minutes for each speaker. After everyone's questions have been asked, if there are still questions that haven't been asked, I will allow you to answer more questions. As well as with staff, they will possibly ask questions. After the questions have been asked and staff will give their testimony, their report to the board, and then after that time, if there's any member of the public who would like to make a comment on this request, you will be allowed to do so. You'll get 3 minutes, and I'll use my phone. But anyone who will be thinking that they might want to ask a question or give testimony, you'll need to be sworn in. This is a quasi-judicial hearing. We have rules of evidence that apply, including, being under oath. So at this time, I would ask anyone who would be speaking to raise your right hand. Do you affirm that the testimony you are about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Okay, and we'll turn it over to the petitioner to go ahead and present your case.
Sure. My name is Brent Hollenberg with Bregan Properties LLC. So we rezoned this to a vacation rental, just a single vacation rental this year, last year?
January.
Yeah, this year. And we got it approved, and we started pulling building permits and fire safety and environmental, or the health department added some new items on there that we had to add, like fire suppression, a new well. So with those added costs, we decided to still do vacation rental, but chop it up into 6 1-bedroom, 1-bath units instead of one big building. Same occupancy load, and Yeah, so we're just trying to get a variance for the parking from 14 to 12, and then rezone it to, is it R3 or R1?
R3. R3,
You're requesting
multifamily
R3.
residential.
Okay, yeah, it's R3. So we've met with all the departments and building to see if it'd be a good fit and had them out. They said, yeah, so we're here to go through the process of getting it possibly rezoned to R3 and the variances.
As you know, we have standards that we have to address for a map amendment. Maybe we could go through those. Can you just address those for the board?
Each one?
Yes.
Yeah, it's in the packet.
Oh, I didn't see it yet. Okay. So you have those in the packet. So they were submitted with your application.
Yep.
So would you like that to be your testimony, whatever is in your application, how you respond to those? And then as well as the approval standards for the conditional use
Yes.
and for the variation as well? Okay. So that's the requirements in the ordinance for your testimony. So we'll start with questions on my right.
Thank you. So I'm reviewing your narrative that you submitted, going through each of the standards, and it says that you intend to list these on Airbnb, VRBO, and similar listing sites. If the variance is granted, how will you be dealing with the parking for each unit on those sites?
It'll be, we'll put up signs like, so like a 1-bed, 1-bath, it'd be very rare that they'd have 2 cars, but if they do, we'd have 2 spots for each unit. So we'd have a total of 12. So it'd be marked with a placard, like this is for unit 1, unit 2, unit 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay, so, and when you're listing it, you'll have a plan to explain that there's limited parking available and the rules will be clear. You won't have people parking along the street or anything like that.
Correct. Yeah, there's like a whole, like, through the app or instructions we send, it's like picture by picture of like, park here, walk on this sidewalk, go up these stairs. It has to be very detailed because people get confused. But yeah, it'll be clearly marked with a sign and signs like max 2 cars per unit. I have a similar property that has 4 units and there's 1 spot per unit, and sometimes there's no cars because it's by a train. But sometimes they'll have 2, and then we have extra parking available for them.
Right, I just want to have you explain that there's a plan for the parking and that you won't be encroaching on your neighbors or parking along the street or anything like that.
Yeah, I don't think we can park on the street anyway there because it's like a busy.
I've driven by it, I just
Yeah,
wanted it on the
yeah.
record. Okay,
Yeah, so it'll be clear max 2 cars per unit.
okay,
Yeah.
I think that's all I have. The questions are comprehensive that we've included.
Mr. Schnabel, any questions?
I was curious, it looks as though I see 2 handicap spaces there by
Yeah.
the sidewalk. Have those been verified for the proper size?
No.
No. How would we want to do that? Any suggestions?
That is typically done at the time of the building permit with the civil engineering that comes in with building permit. So if it's inadequate, they either have to find another spot to add or widen the spots, or they may have to come back for another variance.
Last question for now. How difficult would it be for you to add a couple of more spots?
I think it'd be fairly easy. I think are we losing 2 because of the easement, if they were to ever come in, but we still have those?
So the Division of Transportation, the McHenry Division of Transportation, as you may recall, as part of the change in use is requiring that what's shown in yellow there will be dedicated as right-of-way. As part of that, the applicant is potentially losing up to 2 parking spaces. They've indicated that some of that parking might be accommodated in the detached garage that's southwest of the main building.
But to answer your question, I think it'd be fairly easy on to the right of the handicap spots. There's like, it's kind of the garage there, I don't know, probably not. Might be difficult.
You think you might have room to do it though, possibly,
Possibly,
or
yeah.
add something
Yeah,
if you have to.
yep.
Okay, I'll move on. Someone else, please.
Ms. Gardner?
Thank you. So originally you had this as a single family unit, right?
Yes,
Okay, and now you want to change it to 6 one-bedroom, 1-bath units.
correct.
Will they have any kitchens?
They'll each have a kitchen, yep.
There will be kitchens in them?
Yep.
Okay, so it
Yeah.
isn't like a hotel?
No, they'll be pretty much apartments, yeah, but we could do cook in there, and they'll have a microwave, dishwasher, sink.
Refrigerator?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's all I have for now. I might have some later.
Sure.
Thank you.
Mr. Eldridge?
Yeah, I don't really have any questions. I think that just east of your shown parking, you could put in another row of parking if you needed to, because you don't have anything there.
Yeah.
But I don't think, as a practical matter, you're gonna need. But that's just a comment, that isn't a question.
Mr. Koenig?
My understanding is that the county thinks that you're probably going to be losing 2 parking spaces from what you currently have allocated there. One, because of the easement, and secondly, because it appeared from at least your submissions that the space that you allocated for handicap parking was not big enough. So that would leave you 10 spaces in the parking, in the parked area, or the paved area. And then the indication was that you will have 2 parking spaces in the garage for a total of 12.
Yep.
So that's why you only need a variance for from 14 down to 12.
Right.
A lot of us, I think, remember your prior testimony here about what your plans are and what your experience is. We have several people in the audience that may not be aware. So if you could just briefly describe, your experience in operating vacation rentals.
Sure.
The security that you're going to have, what you're going to be doing for monitoring compliance with noise, et cetera, because as I may have indicated in the past, my concern for these is that they don't turn into a big party place.
Right.
So just a brief summary, please.
Yeah, sure. So we've been operating them for almost 5 years now. Short-term rentals. I have some mid and long-term as well. Some of them we convert from STR, short-term to long-term, or long-term to STR. And people usually go through an app like Vrbo or Airbnb, or I do direct bookings. And then they go through a background check through those applications, and they ID check everybody. So they do a basic criminal background check on them. And if they don't pass that process or even update their ID, then they can't book anything, which is a good security measure. And the people on the reservation have to be staying there. You can't like book it for a friend, or sometimes husbands will book it for their wife that's traveling, but the wife has to physically book it herself. The husband can't do it for her. It's like a security measure. As far as outside, there's cameras. They're really strict about those can't be inside or anywhere that people will congregate, because it can be like towards the street or the parking area. But if there was like a picnic table next to the parking, we couldn't have a camera there because people could congregate in there. So we mostly have the cameras on all the properties for knowing when people are in and out, and license plates just in case there was an issue. Inside we have noise sensors, so if the decibels get above a certain amount, it's just a Wi-Fi puck, usually on the ceiling. So if it gets to a certain noise level, it would alert us. We've never had them go off, because no one's got that loud yet, or they won't. So there's measures we put in place to make sure there's not a party. A lot of them are 1 and 2 bedrooms, so yeah, they could still party in those spaces, but it's super rare. Usually, a lot of people aren't even in the property when they're visiting. They're like,
And these are all 1 bedroom, the 6.
correct. Yep. So.
And as far as monitoring, who monitors compliance with noise and number of people there, et cetera? You do?
Yeah, we do it. Yep.
How far away are you, and how quick can somebody respond and
I have
stop it?
Yeah, I have 3 people on the team, so pretty quick. Because if we have, toilets clogged, so we usually have to be there within 20 minutes. If it's a long-term rental, it can be a lot longer, but if people are traveling and there's no hot water, it's pretty major. But if there's a complaint, then we go out there pretty quick.
Age limitations on people who can rent?
It's kind of a gray area because on one site you can have a minimum age and one you can't. But you can do instant booking, or you can do where you have to approve the people. So none of mine are instant. They're all, so you can set parameters like they've rented at Airbnb before or Vrbo. They have good reviews. So if they have like under 5 stars, I usually am like, why do they have that? Because another host usually complained about them or something. So there's filters, and you can decline people based on that information too.
Do you have a policy of not renting to people under a certain age, for example, 23 or 21?
On one platform, I do. I think it's under 28, and then the other one, it's just, I think it's 18 or 21.
Any plans for this one in particular?
Not for an age limit, no.
Okay. And as far as parking, you mentioned license plates. Do you have people give you the license plates of the cars that will be parked there?
No, they don't ask for that. I don't ask for that either.
And is it your experience for vacation rentals that generally the renter, if it's a 1 bedroom, you'll generally have only 1 car, not, a person and a significant other having 2 cars, or like would customarily be the place at an apartment?
Yeah, so usually when people are traveling, I mean, they'll have, if it's just short term, they'll have the max like 1 car. So usually they're flying in, getting a rental car. Rarely they'll have 2 if like someone's meeting them there. Like if someone stays for a month, a spouse could drive in and stay, and then they're like, do you have an extra spot? So here they would have that. I think it'd be super rare to have ever over 6 cars in the parking lot.
Any complaints from municipalities in connection with your other operations?
I don't have any, no.
I don't have anything further.
Mr. Cozen?
I do, and then I like to reserve time for questions with staff. Can you explain the application and the use of the garage? Meaning, are you contemplating renting it separately from the other units? Would you use it for your own purposes in that mind?
It'll be open for parking. It's kind of old. It does operate though, like they're old carriage doors that are wood. So you could park in there if someone wanted to park in the winter. But we'll also we have a building in the back we can store like outside stuff. But I don't think I'll be using it for anything else besides parking.
I have no further questions.
I have a few questions. So this going to R3 zoning is different than if you'd had just one big facility. And you said the cost was prohibitive in what you wanted to do. Can you kind of explain that to me?
So we didn't think initially we'd have to do like fire suppression. So when there's a change of use in county, we have to, because Crystal Lake is the fire district, they came in and told us we need to sprinkler it and update the alarm system. If there wasn't a change so that's expensive And at that point, we were like, if we're gonna put this much more money into it, it's less of a risk financially for us to put 6 one-bedrooms instead of banking on a family of 12 coming in and renting it. So it would just be more consistent, and then if in the winter, that the slow times, we'd rather have two people or 3 people in there in the winter than nobody, like for a month or 2, because it's take advantage of the outside, the 3 acres. So we just think it'd be more consistent, and then also if the 6 aren't renting out, we could do a hybrid model where we could do 3 long terms, but still have the option to do 6 vacation rentals.
So a long-term rental would be just a regular R3 rental?
Yeah, like anything, I think over 30 days is, or that'd be midterm or long-term, yeah. So.
And you believe that the mixed use around that area makes this so that it's compatible with what's happening in that area?
Yes.
And let's see. Will you have to do that sprinkler system in all those apartments then as well?
Yep, in every closet.
And do you feel like the demand for people to use like a 1-bedroom, somebody traveling or a couple traveling is greater than somebody wanting to rent the whole thing for like a large family gathering, that there's more demand for this new type of use that you would have versus the other?
I think there's more use for the 1-bedrooms just based on my experience, because I have a lot of those booked out, and people coming in town either to work or for leisure. The bigger ones also would be good, which there are some in the county that house up to like 20, 30 people. But that's a higher risk. So
So part of this change kind of lowers your risk as to something bad going on at this property? Is that kind of what you're saying?
No, not just that. I think it'll be more consistent with it being apartments than one big, also potential party house, so.
Okay. Staff, do you have any questions for the petition?
No questions at this time.
Excuse me.
Does any member of the public have any questions?
Renee?
Oh, I'm
Excuse
sorry.
me.
Yeah, go ahead,
Can I-
Mr. Cozen.
Can we go back to the sprinkler system?
Sure.
Are you on a centralized water system? or-
We're on a well.
You're on a well, so how are you accommodating the quantity and pressure necessary for your sprinkler system?
It's a great question. We're converting the current well, because it's too close to the neighbor's septic field, to non-potable through the health department. So we're using that for fire suppression. And there'll be a tank on site with the correct burn rate for the water suppression system. And then the other well, which will be potable, which will be for the building. So there'll be a holding tank with a pump with a battery backup. So if power goes out, fire, I forgot what system it is, NRPD or something, which it allows people a corridor that's sprinklered to exit, but it doesn't save the structure. Where if it was like an apartment complex with 40 units next to another building, it would be high pressure, which would be thousands of gallons of water per minute to save the structure and the interior.
So you would define that project as expensive?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, does anyone in the public have a question? Yes, come
I
on up
do.
and
Neil
identify
Harrison.
yourself and your address.
8711 Richfield Road, right next door. How you doing, neighbor? I just got a question. Where's that tank gonna be and how big is it gonna be?
It'll be
30,000 gallons or
No, it's just 500 gallon.
just 500 gallons?
Yeah, it's
Then why do
inside.
I need a 100,000 gallon tank for my property?
Really?
Yeah, it's gonna cost me $140,000 for a sprinkler system.
Yeah.
I almost had a baby.
Yeah.
And you only need 500 gallons for
Yeah,
your
500.
people inside the building.
Yep.
Where's that 500 gallon tank gonna be?
In the current pump room, there's a maintenance room.
Oh, it's gonna be indoor?
Yeah, it'll be
Oh,
inside.
okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's all I had.
And it's like a tank with the motor and everything in it.
Right,
It's
I've
one
seen
piece.
those, yeah, I know what you mean.
And they
I know
can
what you
fit
mean.
through a 32-inch corridor door.
Holy
It's like,
cow.
it's not round, it's rectangle.
But only 500 gallons, that's not much.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess that's all the questions I have.
Did
Good
you
luck.
state your name, sir?
Neil Erickson, from
Okay.
Erickson's Kennels.
All right, thank you.
you.
And no fireworks on 4th of July.
Yes, no fireworks, please. Thank you.
Any other questions anyone has? Yes, sir.
Don Thurman from Baxter and Woodman, we're right across the street from your new place.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Just, I'm more or less looking at the usage after it's all done, not so much the zoning part of it all, but.
Can you speak up a little bit, sir?
I'm sorry. I don't have any zoning questions, more or less the usage type. As much as it's 6 bedrooms, 6 baths, and individual, right?
Correct.
Is there a common entrance?
Yeah, there's a corridor when you enter, and then in the downstairs there's a corridor, because it used to be the old hallways for the school. And they were separate rooms, and then they took the walls down and we're putting up the walls back to kind of make the classroom, which will be the separate units. So 4 on the main, 2 in the basement.
And like the common entrance, then, is that something that's always open?
No, it'll be locked and keyed, yeah.
Okay.
Right now, there's a passcode on it and a key, because they had some issues with people breaking in and stuff.
Yeah.
And there's a security system too.
I'm used to the Jewish Center being there, so has the structure changed much itself?
No, it's gonna look the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what about, do you have, is it gonna be daily rates, or is it, you gotta be there 2 nights or longer?
We have usually a minimum of like 3 to 5 nights per stay.
Okay.
So, yeah, the nightly, it's like, if it's 100 a night and it's 130 to clean it, then someone's spending like $300 for one night. So that's kind of rare, and also it's a lot of maintenance to clean it every time.
Is that gonna be your range roughly, is 100 per night, give or take?
I will know that when we're done with construction.
Yeah, no, I
And see what the rates are.
Yeah.
But I'd say around that, like 1 to 150.
And proposed opening date?
Probably within the next 12 months.
Oh, okay, great. That's all I have. Congratulations. Good
Thank
luck
you.
to you.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, I have one more question. Neil Erickson, 8711. Is the fence gonna be taken care of around the property? The structure fence along Madison Street right there, along the back of the houses? That's still gonna be taken care of, right? There's gonna be a fence put up there? I'm just asking for your neighbor on the other side, Jim, because he couldn't make it.
Yeah, I talked with him because I think the initial zoning, they wanted some partition put up, but some of the neighbors don't want a tall fence.
It's
to block the
a
view.
mix, yeah.
So I'm not, because I know there's a chain link fence right now that's like 4 feet that I learned is ours. But yeah, I talked with him about the trees and stuff,
Okay.
so, yeah.
He just wanted me to ask, sorry.
Yeah.
I'll leave you alone now.
Oh, you're
Good luck.
Any other questions?
I don't have a question, I'm just stating that we can't.
Oh, you can make a
see
statement later, but you weren't sworn in. So if you want to speak later, you'll have to be sworn in.
Okay.
All right, so at this time, we'll take testimony from staff. Ms. Kurtzman.
Good afternoon. For the record, my name is Anna Kurtzman, and I am senior planner with McHenry County. The property, as we know, is currently zoned A1C. The C is for conditional use for vacation rental, which was granted earlier this year. This is in an area that's a little bit of a hodgepodge in terms of the zoning that's occurring in the area. The residents to the east are zoned A1 for the most part. There's industrial zoning and commercial zoning to the north. There's commercial zoning to the west, and to the south is incorporated. Surrounding uses in the area, this particular area on our existing land use map is showing this as being used for governmental institutional. And that's primarily because of the congregation that resided at this location.
Can I interrupt you for a second?
Sure.
There's a multifamily residential that's up more to the northeast. Is that, based on the color, it looks like that's multifamily residential?
Who's that? Linnea, where are you?
It looks like more to the northeast, like it would be on that I don't know what that
I
road
don't
is
have a
that comes
pointer
off
here,
of
but
Country Club.
Thinking that you might be talking about
This parcel?
that's what I thought, okay. So now that we've identified it, what was your question? I'm sorry.
This is multifamily residential here?
That is according to our land use maps, yes.
Okay.
Okay. I could not tell you this very second as to how many residents might be associated with that property.
Okay.
Okay. Again, this is representing that this is a mixed-use area, commercial industrial to the north, single-family residences to the east and to the west, governmental institutional to the southeast-ish, and agricultural uses to the south. Future land use map reflects the fact that this is a mixed-use area. This particular site is listed on the future land use maps as a governmental, institutional, and utilities for future, but again, that was based primarily on the fact that this was a congregation that had this property. I do not think it's a far stretch to imagine that this property, if it were, if this map is being drawn today, might reflect this as a mixed use in conjunction with the rest of the neighborhood there. There we go. So as I had noted earlier, this is the site plan that is currently being presented. And the previous hearing, you were told that the Division of Transportation is has a policy where if there is a change in use, that you have to dedicate land to make certain that the minimum right-of-way is obtained, and that is reflected in yellow on the map here. The one gentleman asked about the fencing requirement. The last time there was discussion as to how to handle screening along the rear of the 3 or 4 lots to the east of this particular property. And it was discussed as to whether to have that as a fence or vegetation. And the site plan is reflecting the outcome of that discussion of vegetation being provided along that frontage there, or that lot line there. The only other change on this particular site plan from the previous site plan that is the amount and a slight variation in the location of the septic system and the future septic system being noted on here. The applicant is asking to rezone to R3, so as you consider this, consider not just the use of the conditional use, not just the vacation rental, but whether or not the R3 for multifamily is an appropriate use for this particular property. Also consider that there is a request for a variation to reduce the amount of required parking in the R3 district for multifamily building. The parking requirement is 2 parking spaces per dwelling unit. When you have 3 or more, or for every 3 dwelling units, you add an additional parking spot. So that's the reason why the requirement is for 14, and the applicant is indicating they can provide 12 comfortably on this property. I believe those were the points that I wanted to make this afternoon.
Do you believe they've met the standards?
That's for you folks to decide.
Oh, have they addressed the standards?
They have addressed them, yes.
And then, so the reason that the condition that had been put on the previous conditional use request for the landscaping has been removed from this is because it's on the site plan.
That's correct.
Does anyone else have a question?
Yes,
Mr. Cozy.
thank you. Would the parking variance be required if McDOT was not asking for the easement?
Unlikely.
Uh,
Unlikely that, in other words, if they were not asking for that taking, then they would probably have adequate parking.
Right. So that is not, so it is not the applicant who finds himself in the position of need, but rather McDOT finds itself in the need for the additional right-of-way.
You could take it that way.
That's how they're taking it. Who maintains or has a jurisdictional responsibility for Madison Street, did you know?
My understanding is that is a township road.
So the parking requirement is the same for an R3 unit as it is for a vacation rental?
So vacation rental is less stringent than the R3 for the residential. So we took the more stringent requirement and applied that.
And then you also did the same requirement for an R3 for handicap as well, then you applied it to vacation rental.
So handicap parking is in the Illinois Accessibility Code.
Right.
And that is based strictly on the number of required parking. It's regardless of how many zoning requirements there are.
So because it started out, I'm sorry, I'm dwelling on this, but one reason we're here is parking.
Right.
So we started out with the parking with the R3, which got us to that particular number. But then also that same number got us to the handicap as well.
That's in the accessibility code, correct.
Again, nothing that the applicant has brought forward to the table.
They are required to provide that handicap parking irregardless of the number of parking spaces there.
As an R3, but not necessarily as a vacation rental.
No. So any number of parking spaces that are required, there is a table in the Illinois Accessibility Code that says that 1 to 25 parking spaces, you are required to have one. Anything more than that is a graduated table. I don't remember the actual numbers. And the numbers I'm giving you are just fictional numbers. I'm just trying to illustrate that there is a table that says if you have between 1 and X number, you have to have one. If you have X plus a number 25, then you have to provide 2, etc.
Thank you. I don't want to be
So my question, Anna, then is when I look at the variance request and I see the garage included, then it looks like there's 14 spots. But then after that, then the 2 by the road are removed because of the right of way?
That's my understanding of how this is working.
Okay.
And I actually had a somewhat different.
Okay.
He's losing 1 because of McDOT's addition, and he's losing another 1 because he needs the handicapped have to be double wide basically now. They used to be just a little wider than normal. Now they have to be pretty much twice as wide as a space.
I didn't hear a question there.
Well, no, what I'm saying is he's not losing it because of McDOT. He's losing 1 because of McDOT. He's losing the other because of the handicap.
So until the plat of dedication is created and we know exactly where that line is, we are making a presumption that there is at least 1, possibly 2 spaces that are being taken.
Okay.
Are there any other questions for staff? Yes.
Still on the parking. So
It's a variation, basically.
Yeah, the variation for parking. So should this at some point be turned into an apartment building, which it would be actually zoned for, the variation would go with it then, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, until there was some other change in zoning.
Correct.
Okay.
Or changing the use.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, that's, I just wanted to make that clear, so that should it go to apartment buildings rather than vacation rentals?
The way that the Planning and Development Department is looking at this building at this point is that this is a apartment building meeting commercial standards for the building code, okay? So it needs to meet all the residential components for each of the 6 units.
Is planning and development ever planning on possibly writing an ordinance for vacation homes that would include this kind of thing?
I'm not aware that that is in discussion at this time.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions from staff? Okay, at this time, if there's any member of the public that would like to make a statement regarding this would be your opportunity to do so. And ma'am, if you'd like to make a statement,
Yes.
do you affirm that the testimony you give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so if you'd like to come up so we can hear you better, and then state your name and
My name is Pat.
and your
Cornett,
address.
And I live at 8310 Prairie Drive, which is across the railroad tracks. And we were just worried that something was going to happen to the school that she went to. So that's all we came for, that was our main concern, was what was going to happen with the school. So we didn't want it knocked down. Yes, we did not want it torn down.
Oh, okay.
So, thank you.
Anyone else have a statement? Okay, do you have a closing statement, sir?
I don't.
So at this time, we'll move on to the voting portion of the meeting. We have, again, this is for application Z250049, a request for, from the A1 Ag District with a conditional use permit for a vacation rental to the R3 multifamily residential district with a conditional use permit for vacation rental with a variance to reduce the required parking from 14 spots to 12. We have 3 proposed conditions. Number 1, the conditional use shall expire 10 years from the date of approval by the McHenry County Board. Number 2, the conditional use shall substantially conform to the official site plan dated October 23, 2024.
I would like to make a correction to that, please. I'm
Because
sorry.
that's been changed.
That has been changed. So I have up on the screen there, modifying that condition to read, the conditional use shall substantially conform to the official site plan dated October 23rd, 2024, updated July 8th, 2025.
Number 3, all other federal, state, and local laws shall be met. So do I have a motion to approve these conditions?
I move acceptance of the conditions as proposed.
I'll second.
Been moved by Mr. Eldridge and seconded by Ms. Gardner to approve these conditions. Is discussion? Okay, I'll call for the vote. Mr. Eldridge?
Yes.
Ms. Gardner?
Yes.
Mr. Cozen?
Yes.
Mr. Schnabel?
Yes.
Ms. Beverly?
Yes.
Mr. Kernick?
Yes.
And I'll vote yes, so the conditions are approved 7-0.
Madam Chairman, I move acceptance of the petition subject to the conditions.
No, second.
Would you go through the whole thing, Mr. Eldridge? That it's for the
Yeah.
rezoning?
This is to rezone the subject property from A1 agricultural district with a conditional use for vacation rental to R3 multifamily residential with conditional use permit for vacation rental with a variance to reduce the required parking from 14 spots to 12 spots.
And I still second.
Okay, discussion, Mr. Eldridge.
Yes. This was approved for conditional use with the same number of people in it, but a different configuration as just a single vacation rental, short-term rental, in January of this year. As a result of refining the costs of the conversion of what had been a school at one time and subsequently a religious congregation. into a vacation rental. Petitioner decided that the costs were prohibitive to do it that way, and that he would have a more stable business as he has represented to us, and a safer business plan given the some of the requirements for a commercial building if he converted it into a 6-apartment building, still with the same number of vacation rentals, total number of people on site, though with the possibility of converting it at some future date to long-term rentals, a conventional apartment building, if you will. As a result of requirements for parking, and let me note that in my view, this county and virtually every jurisdiction for the last 40 years has required more parking than is actually used. So I have no discomfort at all in granting the variation from 14 to 12. I think he still has probably more parking than is going to be likely to be used in any reasonable fashion. But because a dedication of right-of-way was required, and because in recent time handicap parking has been requires more space than it used to, he conveniently only has space for 12 rather than 14 parking spaces, though if the need arose, at least in my view, there would be an opportunity to add parking spaces if circumstances change. I believe he's met all standards. This is a very mixed use and somewhat odd for historical reasons from a zoning perspective area. It is a community that is actually very old, but never grew into much of a town, never became a real town, if you will. But it's been around as long as some of the oldest towns in McHenry County. This use, I believe, is entirely consistent with the intention of the comprehensive plan and is consistent with the area surrounding it. And I am perfectly happy to support the petition with the conditions. I believe that all the standards have been met.
Ms. Gardner.
I agree with Mr. Eldridge. I'm actually more comfortable with this becoming 6 single-bedroom units than a big unit for a whole bunch of people. Because I think, according to, well, I think that it would be easier for your neighbors to have just small couples or groups at a time rather than, larger groups that might come in and, cause some disturbance one way or another. I'm also really pleased to see the neighbors that you have that are so nice and in favor of your plan here. And I appreciate the time you took to go through all this, the money that you've put into this, and I hope it is a success for you. So I would vote in approval.
Mr. Cozen.
Thank you. My support for this application is coming from a perspective of just recently returning from a county up north that has made its best efforts to restore and retain small cottages on short-term rental. I had no difficulty in arranging parking among 21 members of my household, all who wanted to be the closest to their cottage. And not to extend my wonderful experiences there, I hope that others will find equally enjoyable experiences at your facility and intend to support this application.
Mr. Schnabel.
I'll support the application as well.
Ms. Beverly.
Thank you. For the sake of the record, I just wanted to go through the conditions. I find that this satisfies the approval standards for the map amendments consistent with the submitted narrative by the petitioner. There is a great need for this type of housing in our community, whether long-term or short-term, and I think that it's definitely satisfies the criteria of that portion. I also accept the petitioner's statements of fact regarding the approval standards for the conditional use permits and the approval standards for the zoning variation. I'm in support of this petition.
Mr. Kernick.
I would just simply like to add that I like Ms. Kurtzman's term hodgepodge. Given the hodgepodge of uses and zoning in the area, I have no problem with voting in favor of this request as well.
And I'm also in favor of the request and specifically to the variation for parking that has been addressed. This was a place of worship and this amount of parking spaces was adequate for that. I just can't see that. I think the hardship has been met and that those spaces were there for that historical use. And this is not really increasing the amount of people that would be in that building from the other. And then also just the highway department right away is causing, their right away taking a spot would be causing a hardship to the petitioner. So I believe the standards in the ordinance for the map amendment, for the conditional use, for the specific to the vacation rental, as well as the variation have been met. So I'd be in favor of the request. So I will call for the vote. Mr. Eldridge.
Yes.
Ms. Gardner.
Yes.
Mr. Cozen.
Yes.
Mr. Schnabel.
Yes.
Ms. Beverly.
Yes.
Mr. Kernick.
Yes.
And I'll vote yes. So this will go to the county board with a 7-0 vote approving your request, sir.
Thank you.
So at this time, the hearing is closed. And the building is not being torn down.
Right.
Off the record,